Hello, and welcome to Leadership Table Talk, a show designed to help you develop and improve your leadership skills and talents. I'm your host, Dr. Mary Gillam. In case this is your first time watching the show, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I am a retired Air Force colonel and former member of the Senior Executive Service Corps with the Department of Defense at the Pentagon. I'm also a #1 Amazon bestselling author and the owner of M2G Dynamic Leadership Solutions. In honor of Veterans Day, I want to recognize the contributions of our many veterans. Today's show will focus specifically on our vets. With me in the studio to discuss this topic are Brigadier General retired Barbaranette Bolden and her husband, Major retired Rodney Bolden Sr. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So let's just begin by telling our listening audience a little bit about your backgrounds.
Well, I grew up in Arkansas, eastern Arkansas, on a farm. I'm the 10th child of 10 children.
Wow.
I moved to Washington, D.C. to attend law school at Howard University. And while I was here, I joined the D.C. National Guard, where I met my husband. And we have 4 children, and we're really proud of all the things that they're doing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
My name is Rodney Bolden. I'm from Brandywine, Maryland, about 20 miles south of Washington, D.C. I'm in a family of 12. I'm the 9th child, and I joined the military. I met my wife there, and it's been a great experience for me.
Oh, that is wonderful. What is really interesting here is that I think you came out of 10 and you were 12. My grandmother, believe it or not, had 17.
Wow.
She was married at 14 and had 17 children.
Wow.
Well, but anyway, since we are talking about Veterans Day, let me just ask you guys, what does Veterans Day mean to you?
Well, Veterans Day means, to me, it allows the people of America to recognize the military for the service that they provide. And not only that, it also helps to recognize the families of those military members because they sacrifice along with their service members. So to me, this is a great way for the country to recognize the sacrifice that the military members, provide to this country.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people tend to confuse Memorial Day with Veterans Day. Can you guys just take the time to explain to our audience the difference between the two?
Well, Memorial Day is for those members that lost their lives while serving in the military.
Yes.
Memorial Day is to recognize the service of the members in the military. And so they honor the military in both instances, but Memorial Day is for those who have passed while they were in service.
Absolutely. And I think it's so important that we make that distinction because a lot of people do unfortunately confuse the two. And some people have even asked, why do we have both? But Rodney, can you just expound on what the Veterans Day means to you?
Well, Veterans Day is a time to honor these folk that are in the military. Mm-hmm. And I don't think everyone really understands the sacrifices that are made and what it takes to be in the military. It's been great for me. I've really enjoyed it. I've met a lot of longtime friends, and it's worked well for me. I wouldn't have had it any other way.
That is wonderful. And the question that I have as a piggyback off of that is this one here. From your perspectives, do you believe that society still considers the military as an honorable profession? Because I know those who served during some of our earlier conflicts and so forth, they faced a lot of things when they came back. But today, do we see our society recognizing the importance of the military as an honorable profession still?
Yes, I believe that America truly recognizes the veterans.
Yes.
There are so many celebrations that take place that specifically recognize the military people. But I would say that when I was wearing the uniform, if I got off work early or I had to stop at a store, people would stop me and thank me for my service.
Absolutely.
And to me, those are the personal touches that go in that to me are very meaningful. because there's nothing saying that they need to say that to me, but they do.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
As a military member, I really appreciated that.
That is wonderful. Rodney, would you
And
like to add?
after being out of the military for 23 years, sometimes I'll be with my son who's also in the military, and he get the same respect that my wife get. I'm out for 23 years, so no one really know or recognize that I'm a former military member, but my wife and my son, who's a current member, he's well recognized and appreciated for his service.
That is so true that today we are seeing a big difference in how society responds to our military, and that there is a lot more support today than that we would say that occurred in the past. But I do believe that because of, like you said, General, the different parades, and the different programs that are out there today, that there is a lot more attention being paid to respect and honor the things that our military has done. So, in concert with all that we have said so far, what would you say to a young person today who would come up to you and say, I'm interested in joining the military? What would you say?
I would say if you're interested, the military offers so many opportunities for people when they come into the military. And you learn so many skills, and even if you don't plan to make a career out of it like I did, then you still can learn skills that you can bring back to your community. And so I would say to them, what do you want to do? In most cases, the military has a job for that. So if that's what you want to do, join the military. You still can do that job. You don't have to be a civilian. They can do it as a military member.
Oh, that is what, Rodney?
And if you're fresh out of high school and you're really not sure what you want to do, this is a time, it's an opportunity for you to settle down and decide what you want to do in life, and you'll take those skills, leadership, you have to be dependable, and those things, those are skills you're going to need in life. So it's worked well for us.
So, Rodney, you brought up a point about leadership, and since this show does focus on leadership, how would you guys define the term leadership? What is it?
Well, to me, leadership is providing the guidance that your members need in order for them to do their job. And if you're a good leader and you can articulate to your members what it is you need to accomplish, they will accomplish it. I mean, the military members, they just need to know what you want done.
Yes.
And they'll get it done for you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Rodney?
And I feel that it's basically the same way. It's a great position to be in, and it offers all types of opportunities for you. And leadership, those are skills that you can hone over as long as you're in, and skills you'll take through life. So it works well.
That is one. Now let me just ask General Bolden, since we are recognizing veterans and the fact that as a female senior leader in the military, did you ever in your wildest dream think that you would reach the rank of general in the Army?
No, not at all. What I can say is that when I was approached by a recruiter and he asked me if I wanted to join the military, I said yes, but I can tell you my parents were furious at me because, you know, their baby girl was joining the military. But the military offers so many opportunities for people, and it did for me. No, I had no idea that I would, you know, reach the rank of general officer. But what I did was when a supervisor said, you need to take this class or you need to do this, I did it. And because I followed through with it, then those opportunities were provided to me.
And so you would say that those were some of the things that distinguished you from your peers?
I would say yes. I mean, I'm one of those people that if I get a job, I do my research so that I know exactly what is expected of me, and so that when it's time to execute, I can execute, you know, the mission and not, you know, fail.
That is wonderful. So those are the kinds of attributes that, like you were talking about earlier, that people can use on the outside
Absolutely,
afterwards.
yes. Yes.
So Rodney, can you talk a little bit about some of the things that you learned in the military that you were able to apply when you got out of the military?
Well, the main thing I was able to apply was respect. You have to not only respect the people who work for you, but you have to also earn respect. And it's a certain skill. It takes a certain ability to get there to do that. And over a period of time, it comes. And again, those are things that I've applied in my civilian life. And it's been good.
Good, because I often tell people is that you may be in a leadership position, but that doesn't make you a leader.
Exactly.
There is a difference between the two, and that when it comes down to respect, like you were talking about earlier, that is something that you earn. Can you guys just talk a little bit more about that in terms of, being in a position of leadership and you want people to respect you, but what does it take to really earn their respect?
Well, I think that it takes being a person, of your word. When you say that you're going to do something, that's what you do. That when they do a good job, you recognize them for doing a good job.
Yes.
And when the times get tough, you dig in and you work with them.
Yes,
and to me, I found that when they know that you will do the same jobs that they're doing, they will go to make sure that the mission is accomplished. So it's about relationships and understanding those relationships. But when your people know that you will do the same jobs they're doing to get the job done, they'll do whatever's necessary to accomplish the mission.
General, you could not have said it any better, because I used to tell people that if you take care of the people, they will take care of the mission.
Absolutely.
And they will take care of you.
Yes.
But you have to be willing to put yourself out there, and if they're going to be out there all times of the night, then you need to be out there too. Yes. Besides, being off of your ivory tower or something like that.
Definitely.
But I love it, because I honestly believe that leaders cannot lead effectively if they're not willing to get out there and interact with those that work for them.
Absolutely.
Well, it looks like we're coming up on a break, so please stay tuned and we will be back with you shortly.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Nicole Malachowski, a U.S. Air Force Fighter Squadron Commander and the first woman pilot with the United States Air Force Aerial Demonstration Team. My fellow airmen and I know that each of us plays a huge part in our victories, whether in the air or on the ground. We couldn't accomplish our mission without using everyone's skills to reach our goals. Embracing our differences and working together is also what has made America strong. Thank you for your support, and remember, our strength lies in our diversity. This message brought to you by the United States Air Force.
Welcome back to Leadership Table Talk. Today we are discussing Veterans Day. And so my guests today are experienced and seasoned leaders in the military. And therefore, I just want to ask them really quick here. When you guys joined the military, after taking the commissioning oath, did you ever envision staying in as long as you did?
I did not. I wanted to go in, do my stint, and get out. But after my time was up, I really started to enjoy it. I fell into the role, and I made friends there that I will take through life. We still keep in contact after 23 years of being retired. And those are friends that I can pick up a phone anytime, and we stay connected. So that's been great for me.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I would say the same, that no, I never anticipated staying this long, because when I was growing up, my dream job was to be Perry Mason. I wanted to be a lawyer, and that's why I came to DC to attend law school. But I also needed money, and the Guard offered an opportunity for me to perform my military duty and make some money. And so that's why I joined the Guard. But once I got there, just as my husband said, I found that it was a place that felt like home. And I attended officer candidate school, and just went from there. So the military has been wonderful to me professionally. And as my husband mentioned, we have lifelong friends that we still communicate with. And so the military is a community. I mean, it's a small community, but it is a community to where people stay in touch with each other for a lifetime.
Oh, that is absolutely correct and true, because I can honestly tell you in the time that I was in, there were Army friends that I met when I was at the Pentagon that we keep in contact with each other today, and we all met as young lieutenants there working at the Pentagon. And so that camaraderie piece that you build when you're working together in a environment like that, can you guys just talk about that a little bit more, the camaraderie that comes from being in the military?
It's kind of hard to explain, because I don't know if other people have that type of closeness. Now, maybe police departments and those kind of people may have that, but it is something that I believe is kind of unique to the military, and that I guess we recognize the sacrifices that each of us have made to be in the military, and we kind of recognize that, and it kind of pulls us together. And so I would say that that's probably why.
Yes, yes. Now, Rodney, you said you've been out for 23 years.
Yes.
Can you kind of elaborate on some of the things that have happened since you've been out, the changes that you have seen occur over the time that you've been out of the military?
One of the biggest changes that I've seen since I've been out is the females in the military.
Yes.
It really is amazing how the military is attracting females that have different skills and opportunities for them. But at the time I was in, there were not nearly as many fields that they could enter as they can now. And when I go with my wife to different functions and the females come in, and it really does warm my heart to see them being accepted into sort of a male-dominated organization.
Yes.
And I think that it shows the change in, I guess, basically in society. They're finally being accepted more, you know, and their skills are being valued. So.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that, especially as a female, having served for many years myself. So, General, let me ask you, getting back to some of the challenges and so forth, that as a senior female leader, what were some of those that you may have experienced, and then how did you deal with those?
I had one experience. I was getting ready for the presidential inauguration for President Obama the first time.
Yes.
And I was the task force commander. And so, of course, I had to receive briefings on a routine basis. And I had two colonels that decided they weren't going to, I guess, perform at the level. And so they kept giving me briefings that, you know, maybe a captain or a major had put together. So I finally called them in and said, you know, what's going on here? I'm getting these briefings, and it appears that maybe a major or a captain put these briefings together. I said, I have two 06s, both of you are War College graduates, and if all I'm going to get is captain and major's work, then I need captains and majors, I don't need you. So I think I think they got the message, and they did get the message, and they started producing, and we had a very successful event.
Oh, that is wonderful. Because I know a lot of times, because I do write a lot of books and stuff, people always ask me during some of the interviews, what were some of the challenges, you know, being a female and everything. And but I will say that there are those who would challenge, but I think that when it's all said and done, that when you know who you are and the position that you hold, and the fact that the military promotes based off of your ability to perform at the next higher level, yes, that you know, that's what it's going to take sometimes, that you just have to put your foot down and do what you have to do. And
as a matter of fact, one of those gentlemen made general officer after that. You know,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So let me ask. Given some of the things that have happened recently, you know, with our recruitment sites and so forth, do you think that that's going to impact the ability of recruiters to be able to recruit men and women, given the safety now that has to be taken into consideration? We had the bombing and so forth, and there's been a lot of talk about securing the sites, because I've always, thought about that, the fact that you do have a lot of recruitment stations that are located outside of, maybe your military installations and stuff. And then now that we're living in a totally different society and dynamic, that do you think that that might impact recruiters' ability to be able to reach out? Do you think that young people may be
I would say
limited?
No. I would say I don't think that will impact. As a matter of fact, many times when tragedies like that happen, more people want to serve their country, because they want to say to those people who have committed those acts, you're not going to stop us.
Yes,
we're the United States of America, and we're going to defend our country.
Absolutely.
So, no.
That is
it's
wonderful.
going to make more people want to.
Because I know a lot of people after 9/11 signed up, and that was really, really good to see that, like you said, that was not going to hinder or stop us from moving forward. So I really appreciate that. And I think because all of us have served in the military, that we don't want people to lose sight or shy away from joining or serving, because we recognize the importance of what it brings to our country as a whole. So is there anything else that you guys would like to say to young people that may be on the crust of maybe wanting to join or not join?
I would say, if you are not really sure of what career path you want to take, that this is a fine opportunity for you to get in, to learn some discipline, you learn leadership, you learn skills that you can apply later in life. And it has helped me. It helped me an awful lot. I can speak from experience. It helped me an awful lot, and I would definitely encourage, if you're not quite sure just what you want to do, the military is a good start for you, and the benefits that come later in life are amazing. It's well worth the effort for the time that you'll put in. And again, lifelong friends. You can't get those everywhere. So.
Absolutely.
So let me ask also, for those who have served, are there opportunities on the outside in which we can continue to serve in capacities that will encourage young people? I know a lot of people go into ROTC, junior ROTC programs, or they may serve as government employees working in detachments or something like that. Can you guys just kind of elaborate on maybe other opportunities in which we can continue to serve?
You mean once they come out of the military?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, there are opportunities out there, because most employers want someone who knows how to come in and become a team player.
Yes.
And if you're in the military, that's a core requirement, that you know how to be a team player. And any employer who hires a military person is getting that type of person. And in most cases, they're very successful and make the company more successful as well. So,
now, let me ask, I know when I first got out and I was working for a company, and while I was there was discussions about when some people get out of the military, they have a hard time kind of making that transition. Have you guys seen any of that throughout your careers, where some people have a hard time saying, well, goodbye, or not necessarily goodbye, but now that you're transitioning into a totally different work environment, and
Well, I think you are working in a different environment, in that the military is very structured.
Yes.
But civilian life is not as structured, and I think as a military person, you may have a little bit more of a problem adjusting to the lack of structure. But once you make that transition, you become a valued member of that team, and the employer is going to be very pleased with your work.
Oh, that is wonderful. Would you like to add
And I would
anything?
agree with what my wife said, because I was always a part-time soldier. Or I was always in the National Guard and had a full-time job. So I didn't have an issue so much with that transition because I was constantly in transition. But watching my wife make that transition, it did take her a minute, but she did very well with it. So yes, it can be challenging, but it can be overcome.
That is wonderful to hear, because I would say from my own personal perspective that I thought I could make the transition easier, and yet I had some little challenges there in the beginning in terms of, oh, I'm not in the military anymore, I don't have to get up at this time anymore. But there are some things that I had to go back and really go back and adhere to that I really enjoyed from being in the military, and one of those was with weight. I enjoyed the fact that we did have to be responsible in that regard, and so unfortunately for me there was some issues there when I first got out, and I was glad that I was able to, okay, now I got to get this back in check here and stuff. But anyway, I do want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here with me, and as we get ready for Veterans Day. And I do want to thank our listening audience for watching the show, and I hope that you have been inspired by our guests and the contributions that our veterans have made and continue to make. So if you have any questions about our show, please contact me at m2gleadershipbiz.com. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.